Kilkenny 321, Dublin 18 points, and Kilkenny had 14 men for a bit of the first half and all of the second half. I think that's a very worrying result for Dublin. Now, Matty Kenny was interviewed afterwards, and he did explain the amount of players that are away with the Fitzgibbon Cup at the moment, and that's a consideration for plenty of teams at the moment. Like Tipperary had a couple of lads on Saturday night who had played on Thursday, so it's an issue there too. But
Jesus.
the manner of it,
Yeah.
not good.
If he's saying about how many he's missing, Brian Cody could have listed off a fair whack that he's missing.
Because it was a fairly experimental Kilkenny team. I won't say a weekend team, but it was definitely very experimental.
Well, it definitely was, yeah. It's very worrying for Dublin. Just saw some of the clips last night and was chatting to a few people that were at the game as well. Like, they never really raised the gallop at all, with 15 against 14 for the guts of 45 minutes. So it's not a great start for them. I was chatting to someone about it, and they were kind of saying that maybe Matty learned something from last year's league, in the sense that he thought maybe that they got a bit flatter as the year went on.
Put too much into it. Possibly,
yeah. On the counter argument, I should say, they weren't too flat when they played Galway the last night in the Leinster round robin. They're obviously flat today. They played against Laois, and there would be more of an emphasis on championship and less on the league, and there would be a bit of a slow burn and they'd start seeing their best near the end of the league. But they had a strong enough team out.
They did. No, there were definitely still missing players. The likes of Liam Rush and that. I'm definitely concerned about it, because I know Matty Kenny likes to win every game. He'd like to win a game of hopscotch if he went into it. That's worrying. I'd say Alan Nolan's puck outs and being blocked by Billy Ryan after catching an Owen Murphy free there at one stage was poor. Like that, you can't. There's one place you can't afford to have bad distribution. That's Nowlan Park, because the crowd really gets on top of you. Like we've seen that year after year after year. Like if you were going to have a bad puck out, I'd nearly rather you hit it as far as you can out over the sideline, rather than short
100 yards up the field. Yeah.
And drive it over the sideline. Who cares?
Yeah.
But like, I just think you can't have this. And I mean, some people think that sounds stupid. Obviously, primarily you want to win your puck outs. But if you're struggling, I'd rather hit it over the sideline.
There was two out over the sideline, 25 yards in, and then you just feel like the whole world is caving in, and everyone's like, "This is just turned into a disaster." It was a real non-event. Very surprising, to be honest with you. I thought Dublin would give the league a right burst. They are missing lads, fair enough, but Kilkenny are missing 3 or 4 of their starting team, 3 or 4 of their starting forwards, and the best hurler in the country at the moment.
Eamon Dillon, I thought, did quite well in the forward line. A lot of the other guys, I think Mark Shoedale expect more out of himself. I think Oisin O'Rourke got a couple from play. He'd want more. Danny Sutcliffe picked as captain, scored a point. I'd like to see him bring his teammates into it a little bit more. I think at times the long solo runs, it doesn't matter who you are and how fast you are, you're going to run into traffic going down the centre of Kilkenny.
Yeah. You have a fair idea of what he's going to do when he gets the ball. He's going to want to take you on. He's going to want to try and either take you on and probably score himself, or shoot from 80 or 90 yards. So he does probably need to bring more lads into the game. Interesting, I'm not sure why Sean Moran didn't start.
He's only back from Australia maybe a week and a half. Like he was away for a good while. So
the bits I saw, he was fairly sharp. He was fairly sharp when he came back.
What about the red card for Richie Lahey? Like, for me, when Brendan Maher did that shoulder that he got a yellow card for against Ballyhale, I had the world and its mother onto me on Twitter saying, "Oh, you were able to say Richie Hogan deserved a red card in the All-Ireland final. What about Brendan here?" And my answer was, well, he hit him shoulder to shoulder, and I haven't seen any footage that shows shoulder hit head. And until I do, there was very conclusive footage of Hogan's arm going across Cathal Barrett's head that time. And in this situation, I think Lahey came in. We all do it where you try and get in over a ball, but he came in and he caught. I can't remember who it was. It was a left-hander, whoever it was.
Yeah, he totally rushed in.
Yeah, he absolutely burst him, and he had to go as far as I was concerned.
And it looks like there's an edict coming down that anything head high or anything like that, there's just zero tolerance on it. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Anyway.
And what disappointed me a little bit later on then was like Paddy Deegan was looking for a red card for very little. I think he got tackled and someone's kind of was like that, and his head was low, and it was like hit into him like that, and he was remonstrating big time with the referee. I thought there was no need for that. But by the way, this was a horrific game to watch. It was so scrappy. Like the first 10 minutes, like I got back to the house and my friend said it's a poor game. It's terrible. and I thought it can't actually be all that bad. So I turned it on, and after 10 minutes I was pulling my hair out because it was horrific to watch. Not a good sign for Dublin. Need to respond and quickly.
Good sign for Kilkenny, in fairness.
Yeah.
They're developing a squad. There's more and more lads getting their opportunities, and but just back to Richie Latty, to be a black mark beside his name now for a while with Cody, because he doesn't like the Jerry Aylward hardly played a minute. Don't know if he played a minute at Championship after he got sent off last year against Galway.
He was dangerous now. He got a goal. Billy Ryan got 2 goals, and I thought it was very strange the way Paddy Smith tried to stop that second goal dribbling into the net. He went after it with his foot, even though the hurley was in his
it
head.
was strange. Yeah.
But sometimes there's only like when you do it yourself and you know the dynamic of what way your body's moving, that you know why I can't quite get my hurley to it, but it just looked odd. I thought that was a bit strange.
Interesting to see the Kilkenny halfbacks, which we've talked about before, bombing forward a good bit more.
Yeah,
they were far more prominent going forward when Kilkenny had the ball, and it's an interesting one. Wexford did a lot of that last year. I looked back at the All-Ireland semi-final against Tipperary, and the backs were
Sean Murphy.
Yeah, Sean Murphy.
Liam Ryan.
Liam Ryan got that point. Simon Donoghue was striding forward. Kevin Foley was pushing forward a sweeper to get a score. So it'd be interesting to see, like you've talked about before, about Kilkenny having really good strikers at 5 and 7. When they play the likes of Limerick, they can punish them if the ball comes back near them from 100 yards.
Yeah, if the wing backs or wing forwards drop back for the opposition.
So it'd be interesting to see if that's maybe a small little change. Like, you never would have seen Paddy Deegan going past midfield before under any Brian Cody. Like Jackie Tyrrell said last night that if JJ had went past 65, he would have had an earache. Like, listen to him, tell him to come back. Like, and so it's interesting to see. Maybe that's something different we'll see from this year.
And DJ Carey and his selectors, much like Kieran Kingston, he'll be happy with the young lad getting a point from wing back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, interesting to see the 2 Tullaroan boys coming on as well. Obviously, only won the All Ireland 8 days before that, and I believe they were all in Goran Park. I was down there for the test days last Thursday, and I think they were there in a bit of a hoolie. Now I don't know whether if Tommy Walsh Village, as they call him, and Martin Keown were there, but that's obviously, it's funny when you're a fringe player like that. I don't know whether it was a case of they want to get back in quickly, or Cody wants them back in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I don't know which that is, but
there's probably an unspoken word where get back in, or you might even get a text or come back in when you can. Who knows what way it goes, but you're probably like, geez, I better get back in.
And then the other Tullaroan boys are thinking, these boys are after hanging us out to dry here. We look terrible by the fact that they're not back in. Do you
know? So that's like Dublin have Laois next week. They'll want to hit the ground running there. I think this is a situation. You talk about Tipperary, the result didn't matter too much to them. I think for Cork, that result kind of, I think it was important to them the way that they lost, or it says something. Waterford, important to get a win. I think for Dublin, that sort of a performance based on what happened last year against Laois, I think that was big. So there's a bit of pressure going on against Laois.
There definitely is, yeah.
Thanks for watching Our Game. Don't forget to like and share the videos, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe.